Hi friends, and welcome to my Not a Sewing vlog. Yes, you are correct. This is not my sewing room. This is not my living room. This is not my home. This is a first grade classroom that I am currently substitute teaching in. I've made sure that there are no defining information about the students or the school, right? Yes. Including my key tag. uh, I just have one of those golden, uh, they call them golden hours for teachers in school. And it's when your specialist time, your recess time, and your lunch time for your students all stack up. Specialist time is like music, art, STEM or STEAM, library. I think that's all of them. I don't remember. And the students do one of them every day. And if you have the specialist time before recess, and then recess is before lunch, then you send your kids off. The specialist takes them to recess. They go straight from recess to lunch. So you have like this big chunk of time with no kids. It's very nice. So I was sitting here going, okay, so I've gone over the notes for the day. I know what we're doing. I've got all of the assignments prepared. What do I do next? And I thought, maybe I could film a video. I have tried this twice before in previous weeks, but there was always like some defining something, information or something that I didn't feel comfortable posting the video because either like kids walked in or something happened that made me feel uncomfortable, too uncomfortable to post the video. But I think everything's okay. You never know. You never know. So on Saturday, I went to Fort Nisqually and I went to their annual Queen Victoria's birthday celebration, which is very fun. Unfortunately, the carriage ride was canceled this week or this year, which kind of bums me out because last year we had so much fun doing the carriage ride around the orchard, sitting in the back of this. It was kind of more of a wagon carriage, but it was still super fun and learning about the horses and being in our foofy dresses. But that's okay. The fort still has lots to offer. You can tour the fort and all the stations like the kitchen and the blacksmith and the soldiers' quarters and all of that. And then also around the fort, there's stations specifically for the event. Like you can make a tussy mussy, which involves like flowers and plants that you can roll up and make into a little bouquet. And each one has a different meaning. There was a recipe that you could both try, like eat, which was delicious. And then you also got the recipe to take home with you. In the kitchens, there was a lavender sachet making station in the main house. Trying to think what else there was. There were a bunch of different stations, plus they do cannons. They shoot off the cannons. There was a tinsmith that was showing you how to do tinsmithing. There was a decoupage station. There was just a bunch of things. Very fun. Unfortunately, it did rain a bunch of the time, so we did spend a bunch of the time in the main house making the lavender sachets or sachets. I often have trouble saying words, and here's why. Because I have seen those words and read those words and said them in my head, but I don't often hear them spoken. For example, I have had a bunch of people comment and also friends tell me that in a recent video, I said the word atlier instead of um, atelier, I think is how they said I'm supposed to say it. The trouble is, I just haven't really heard the word said that much, or if I have, it's been a long time and I'm just going off the spelling. So please forgive me if I say a word wrong. It's just that I don't hear it that often and I apologize. Please forgive me. Um, anyway, so we stayed indoors a bunch of the time making little items. I did not get, per usual, my 1855 working woman's outfit completed. I did like 4 different mock-ups of the bodice. One of them fit fairly well, and I was like, okay, we'll go with this. Cut out the bodice, got it sewed up in the fabric. It was too small. The bodice was too small. It wouldn't close. The upper sleeve was incredibly too small. And I'm like, how? How does this keep happening? I have so many issues. I had a complete breakdown on like Friday in front of Handsome Hubby. And I was like, why? Why do I have a hobby that I suck so much at? That like causes me so much grief? That like I'm always the worst dressed, that I'm always the last one like struggling with it, that I'm half the time I'm like don't get it done. Why do I have this hobby? Why is it like the biggest hobby in my life? Why? And I'm crying and he's like, because when you dress up and then you're out with your friends, you're so happy. And I was like, you're right. Once I was dressed up and at the fort, I had so much fun with my friends. I absolutely loved just walking around with them in costume. It brings me so much joy. It's just the process of getting there. I do not enjoy at all. So, I did get the skirt finished. So I wore a later Victorian blouse with it. And then I wore what's called a, hopefully I get this word right, sontang. Sontang, which is a crocheted wrap that is kind of like a giant triangle, but the ends go to very narrow points, and then it comes down like this. And you wrap it around you, and then you wrap the points around here, and you tie them in the back. And the sontang's actually been popular since, so it was worn from like the late 1600s all the way through the late 1900s. So it had a big span of popularity that it was worn. A lot of you Outlander fans will recognize it as being worn on Outlander a lot by Claire and Jamie's sister and a lot of the women, the big woven crocheted wraps that go around and then tie in the back. And it was so that it kept your middle and your upper arms warm, but left your lower arms free to use. Anyway, I have a maroon one that kind of matches the flowers in my skirt. So I wrapped that around my blouse to kind of hide the fact that my blouse was a later era blouse. And I think it all worked pretty well. The overall look was pretty. I didn't really have a bonnet that matched, and I didn't have time to redecorate a bonnet. So I brought a bonnet with me, but I didn't wear it that much because I just kind of carried it with me because it just didn't feel like it looked very good with the outfit. I, of course, stepped into my hem and tore the front hem out of my skirt within like 10 minutes of being at the event because I had hemmed the front of my skirt too low and the back of my skirt too high, like I do. But I did have a really fun time. I was there with my friend Rebecca from Lady Rebecca Fashions, who looked amazing in her purple cotton like late 1850s, early 1860s dress that she had actually sewn for a production of Little Women that she was in when she was playing Meg. She also played Jo in the same production. They switched her back and forth with another girl, but when she was playing Meg, she wore that dress. And then my friend Melinda, who is a phenomenal seamstress, made a kind of early 1860s working woman's outfit out of a reproduction fabric and had like an antique collar on it. And it was just turned out beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And trimmed her bonnet like with this beautiful, I need to learn all her secrets. She's amazing. And her partner, Sammy, came with us and was so agreeable at taking pictures. Really, I owe them big time. And we all had so much fun frolicking around the fort and then going to lunch afterwards. The next day, I was supposed to go to a Regency tea, and I was so excited to go to this Regency tea, and I spent that night ironing one of my warm weather dresses and finding all of the bits and pieces for it, all of the my bonnet, my gloves, my partlet. Partlet is the term Elizabethan. I don't know if they still called it a partlet in the Regency era, but that covered up this area. Just finding everything I need. And the next day, handsome hubby was not feeling well. He had just a crazy headache and a fever. And handsome hubby doesn't get headaches and he doesn't get fevers. So I was worried he'd had COVID. We tested him. He was fine. And so I put him to bed and just took care of him. And by the time it was time to leave, I was like, this is not happening. So I didn't end up going to the tea because handsome hubby always takes care of me. Like always, even when it's just something little and I'm like, oh, my back hurts. He rubs my back for me, or if I'm sitting being lazy, I'm like, I'm thirsty. He goes and gets a drink for me. I mean, he is amazing. His love language is acts of service. And so I try to make sure that I respond in especially when he's sick, because he's almost never sick. So when he is sick, I have to remind myself, take care of him, because you have receiving love languages and you have giving love languages. A lot of people don't know this, and I could go on this whole spiel about this because I wrote a paper about this. I don't know if you know, but I majored in psychology in college, and I'm going to be moving on to get my master's. But something I studied a lot was the love languages, and there's some people who don't believe in the whole theory of love languages and some who do and whatnot. I believe there is some validity to the whole love languages theory. But also that a lot of people have focused so much on the giving love languages and not the receiving love languages, because you have both giving and receiving love languages, and sometimes they're not the same. Like my giving love languages are words of affirmation and gifts, but my receiving love languages are words of affirmation and well, I don't remember the other one, but it's not gifts. Gifts make me uncomfortable. Anyway, but and you can have all of them, but they're in a certain order. For example, like my giving love languages, like my number one giving love language is physical touch. Like my number one giving love language is physical touch. Like I would love to hug everybody I meet and everybody in my life constantly. I have friends who have just gotten used to the fact that I will hold their hand whenever we hang out. I have friends that I don't do a lot of physical touch with because I've just been around them enough to kind of learn about them and that they're not a physical touch person. And that's okay too. I just try to learn about the people that I meet and whatnot. But I definitely, when I first meet people, I'm always like, I'm a hugger. Are you okay with hugs? And the classroom's getting dark because it doesn't realize I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Okay. Okay. I'm still here. I got off on a tangent. Moving back. Okay, so that was my weekend. Currently, I'm working on a chemise à la reine for a picnic I'm throwing basically a month from now. Recently, I've had some frustration with this picnic, and I feel like I have gotten whiny about my frustration, and I feel really bad about that. I recently posted on Instagram about my frustration that both friends and people I don't even know who want to come to this picnic have both told me, like, to my face, messaged me, and commented on the event that they don't want to wear a chemise à la reine. Some of them have said, hey, is it okay if I don't wear a chemise à la reine? And some of them have just told me, I'm not going to wear a chemise à la reine to the picnic. I'm going to wear this instead. And I even had one, they were right in front of me, and one said, oh, I'm going to wear this instead, and told my other friend, hey, don't make a chemise à la reine, just wear this because I know you have this, and then we can wear our same. And I'm just standing there going, I'm throwing a chemise à la reine picnic, and like I know you have like 2 of them, and if you don't want to make one, don't come. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to tell people don't come, but it's kind of like, I don't know. It just seems so odd to me that people would first of all tell me, oh, I'm not going to wear one to your picnic, or ask, hey, is it okay if I don't wear one to your picnic that's called chemise à la reine picnic, and wear this completely different thing instead? It might be from like the same time period, but it's a completely different like look. And my brain I just have trouble wrapping around that, because I am the type of person where if you're throwing an event and this is your theme, I'm not going to question your theme. If I don't have clothes to go with your theme, I'm going to make clothes to go with your theme. I'm going to find clothes to go with your theme, or I'm going to tell you, oh, I am not going to be able to do that in time. I'm so sorry, I can't come. I mean, because I want to like honor your theme. I figure you have a theme for a reason, and I know you want, like, you're going for a certain aesthetic with this theme. And so it just, I don't know, maybe my brain works different than other people, but I don't know. And I had someone comment on Instagram, and they were like, your friends are probably going to be really confused that you're commenting here and saying, why are people doing this, without you talking to them about it. And I'm like, no, I don't think so, because they've like flat out told me I'm not wearing that to your picnic. Like, and I'm just, oh, okay. So part of me, I was chatting with a friend last night who is making a chemise à la reine. And I know a bunch of my friends are like, hey, we're going to costume college in 2 months, and we have a bunch of sewing for that. So we don't really want to make a chemise à la reine for an event in 1 month. And I have a friend who's also going to costume college who I was chatting with last night, who's making a chemise à la reine for the event, who I told her, I said, part of me just wants to cancel the event and say, hey, this isn't happening. And then the like 2 friends of mine who have said, hey, we're going to make chemise à la reines and come to your event. Like, me and them, we'll just go have our own little picnic together in our chemise à la reines. I don't know. And part of me wonders if maybe, like, I know. Don't be in shock. This is an edit. I was watching through my video, and I was supposed to post this yesterday on Monday, and I have horrible coverage internet coverage in the school, and I keep messaging the IT people, and I'm like, hey, I know I'm supposed to be able to connect to the school's internet, and they are like, yeah, this is how you do it. And then I try to do it, and it doesn't work because I am me, and that is how that happens. So I have horrible coverage, so it wouldn't download. And then I was looking at it last night, and I was like, I don't think I want to post this yet. And I wasn't really, I don't know, I wasn't really clear on why I wasn't feeling like I didn't want to post it yet. I just knew I didn't want to post it yet. And over last night, talking to a couple of people and everything, I made the executive decision to postpone the chemise à la reine event that I have been having so much anxiety over, because people make some good points. A month and a half is not a long period of time to just suddenly be like, hey, there's an event in a month and a half. And people who already have projects planned out don't want to just suddenly be like, oh, I have to insert a new project into this month and a half to get it done in time for this event that suddenly popped up on my calendar. Also, a bunch of people are prepping and preparing for costume college that happens in 2 months, basically, and don't really want to throw another costume in right this minute. And so I postponed, and kind of compromised, but also didn't. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Basically, I pushed it back to August. It's kind of a month after costume college. I don't know if anyone's going to want to sew something new then either, but there it is. I've pushed it back to the middle of August. Late August, actually. I think it's late August. And that's when I'm going to do it. If I'm the only one who shows up at the park, yay me, I'm going to look amazing, lounging, and, eating bonbons at the park in my chemise à la reine. That's fine. This experience has also taught me that if I want to pull together these and they're not really events, they're more like gatherings, hey, let's all dress up in this time period, this era, this specific costume, and all meet up. It's more like a gathering. Less of an event, more like a gathering. If I want to, it takes less planning. It's not like you have to rent a space or anything. It's like, oh, we're all going to meet up at this park and do this. I still need to give people more time because, people have busy schedules. People have their costuming schedule is like wide open, or not wide open. Not wide open. I don't know why I said that. Their costuming schedule is full of, this is what I want to do this year. So they need to decide if they want to insert a new costume there or if they have something that will already work or anyway. So I need to plan ahead. So I am thinking about other gathering type events that I want to do. And also, I think that there may be a ball type event this autumn that I am considering doing. So I'm thinking about that as well. And so if I'm going to be doing that, I need to make a decision and get that on the calendar right away so people can know that that's on the calendar, know that it exists, and plan accordingly. I did some event planning for historical events back in Utah several years ago, and I'm out of practice. And most of my event planning was a lot more along the gathering event type of events. And I'd like to move into the more big events where you rent out spaces and you do all the big planning. Yes, it can be incredibly stressful, but it also can be very rewarding. I have to admit that at my ball at the weekend of the Victorian Heritage Festival, there was something just so awesome about just stopping, taking a deep breath, and seeing all these people there, all dressed up beautifully, eating cake, talking, a little dancing, just having so much fun. And the costuming was amazing. I'm already planning for next year's ball. I'm so excited. I just feel like now I've got a real handle on how things need to be done, so that will be really great. Anyway, I should probably finish the stitch. I think it's called a stitch, where you like insert an edit into a video. I don't know. This is all new to me. You know that. But I did want to say, a little boy in the class today told me that my dress reminds him of Star Wars. And I was like, okay. And I thought about it and I realized he's talking about Queen Amidala's lake dress with all the different colors in it. And I'd never really thought about that with this dress before, because it's just pastels that go from yellow to pink to purple to blue, and then it starts fading back to purple to pink, and then on my little straps here, yellow. But this would be a really good dress to wear to like Star Wars land at Disney. I hadn't had that thought before. Anyway, yeah. Edit over. Edit done. Edit done. Soon after all of the Victorian Festival stress to even be doing this. I don't know. I just love events and getting together and doing stuff, but maybe I'm pushing it. I might be pushing it. So I don't know. I might just end up canceling, honestly, because I might just be pushing this event into a space that's just too soon after Vic Fest and too soon before Costume College. And yeah, Costume College. Yes, that's right. It is the time of year where I start talking about Costume College, probably nonstop. Just saying. Costume College is, instead of the last weekend in July, it's the second to last weekend in July this year. I think there was a conflict with the hotel and conference center that they usually get, and so it's second to last weekend, which is fine. My group of friends and the people that we hang out with at Costume College, we have like a huge, like over a week long, like trip planned where we are getting there like way early. We are going to dress up and go to the Queen Mary. We are then going, after Costume College, we are going to Disneyland and California Adventure. It's just all going to be super fun. It's also going to be a lot, so I've got to make sure that I pace myself. The Costume College theme this year is, well, now I don't remember, of course, and I can't look it up because it's on my phone where you are. But the Costume College theme this year is basically like costumes from the movies. So, well, I think it's like movies and plays, so, which is basically a very open and excellent theme for costumers. I am a little bummed that the gala that they do on Saturday night is a Bridgerton themed gala. Don't get me wrong. Love me some Bridgerton. Just watched the first half of season 3. Can't wait for the other half. But I feel like that's very minimizing. That's like Bridgerton. What if the theme had been like historical fantasy romances, or, historical and fantasy romance films or something like that, so that there could be a wider variety instead of just another Bridgerton ball. I mean, there have been so many since Bridgerton came out that I'm a little over. I'm a little over it. But there is an awesome, awesome group. They call them shadow groups at Costume College, where it's groups that decide, no, we don't really like this theme for this event that's happening this night. We're going to come up with our own, which Costume College is overall is totally fine with. They present these themes, but they're cool if you don't want to dress that theme. They just would love you to dress up in general. So I've joined a shadow group that is doing the English Regency court gowns. If you don't know, you should Google this. The English Regency court gowns were hilarious. For some reason, the Queen during the Regency era, only in England, had decided that the panniers of the former, 18th century had to still be worn when you were at court. So only when you were at a court event, the dresses were empire waist. So from like the empire waist, so the underbust, up, it looks like a Regency ball gown, like a grand Regency gown. From here down, it looks like an 18th century ball gown, court gown. So right here at the underbust, the panniers come out. Not down here at your waist, up here, the panniers come out. I mean, they must have like rested their arms right here at their underbust. It's the craziest, weirdest looking style. I'm sure the other countries looked at England and went, what are you doing? What's going on here? I'm kind of bummed that they don't show that in Bridgerton. I mean, don't get me wrong, those beautiful white court gowns are stunning, but really, in reality, those girls should be. So we're all making grand, crazy, big Regency court gowns to wear to the Bridgerton ball, which I think is going to be amazing and super fun. I have been wanting to make one of those for years. If you've been following me, a few years ago, I had a project to make one of those, and of course, didn't get done. But I still have like a bunch of my stuff and my patterns and everything, so I'm a little ahead on that project, which is cool. I also have some planned costumes for other events. I've got to see what I can get done though, because basically Costume College is in 2 months. I also have costumes that I've made that I can take with me. We'll see. I'm not sure how much of the films or the costumes of stage and screen. That's what it's called. That's what the theme is. Costumes of stage and screen. I'm not sure how much along that theme I'm going to follow, but I do have some ideas. And as I solidify those ideas, I will share them with you. I am rooming with Lady Rebecca Fashions this year, so that should be very fun. Send her your heartfelt, I don't know what to say. I snore. I'm a snorer. I'm a bad snorer. She found this out a few years ago when we roomed, and it was hard on her. But she has decided to graciously give me another chance. And I'm going to bring everything I can. I'm going to bring NyQuil. I have this strip thing that goes on. I have a thing I shove up my nose. I have done a sleep study. Of course, I did it during COVID, so it was a take-home sleep study. And it came out that I was like right on the margin. Like right on the middle line, like, of having sleep apnea. And I know Handsome Hubby has it. I keep trying to push him to get a sleep study done, but he's like, no, they'll make me sleep away from you, which is adorable, but yeah. And so I don't know. I have a friend who has a sleep apnea device, and I'm terrified of the idea of like having a mask over my face or having like, something covering my nose or mouth at night. But she said I could come over and like just try it like unattached, like try putting it over my face and like laying in her bed and testing it out so that if I do a second sleep study and they're like, yeah, you could probably benefit from this, I'd be like, okay, I can do this. But in the meantime, I'm going to try everything I can to not be a snorer. I don't have room to take my wedge pillow. I sleep on a wedge pillow because it helps with my snoring. It helps with my breathing and my sinus draining and all that stuff. And it also helps with my back. I can't really take that with me because I don't have room, but I'm going to see if the hotel will give me some extra pillows, and I'm going to prop myself up when I sleep because that should help a little bit. So we'll see how all of that goes. I'm just about done. Did I cover all the things? I don't remember. Hopefully. I think I've covered all the things for now. If you're going to costume college this year, please let me know. I would, first of all, love to know what you're working on, what you're planning to wear. I would love to find out if you're in any shadow groups. And I would love to, if I haven't met you, I would love to meet you because new friends, everybody should be my friend. And also, if you have any tips on events and event planning and just my event situation, I would love to hear some feedback, some preferably gentle feedback. Thank you so much, friends. I am substituting the same class for 3 days. It's the first time I have substituted like the same class for multiple days in a row. Let's hope my sanity stays in check. And I will hopefully vlog again in a couple days. I know I say this every week, but I say it in the hopes that one day it will happen. Okay, bye friends. Bye.